What's up, guys? We are talking to Jake Plummer, who is an expert in functional mushrooms today. Man, super interesting show. We have him here on Skype. We're going to be talking. He says one thing that's very, very interesting, so hang around. But he talks about his favorite mushroom, the one that you can't go without. So stick around. Let us know what you guys think. Here we go. Psychedelics, I think specifically for treatment of some of the things that he's dealing with. If you don't mind, give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you got into all this.
There's a lot to do with, what you're referencing with Devin. And I like to say just, it's not plant medicine because some psychedelics are from the fungi kingdom. I like to call it a queendom because to me, it feels like more of a creator than anything, rather than a kingdom where there's one in charge, and it's more of a beautiful, all encompassing, kind of like a mother, kind of like a queen, kind of like a goddess. So the mushrooms, are part of the psychedelics, and there's been a big push out here in Colorado with decriminalizing psilocybin and some other psychedelics, and definitely a lot of people out here exploring the avenues and the pathways to health and wellness, especially with a lot of the mental health issues that we're dealing with in our culture, and not only the older generation and our generation, my generation, your generation, the younger generation. So there's curiosity when you hear stories of it helping somebody come out of a dark, deep depression or deal with their PTSD or help get a handle on their anxiety that could be, crippling. And there's a lot going on. And I like to loop that back into just nature in general is being explored a little bit more as a pathway to your own health and wellness, rather than what we've been doing, which is going to see your doctor, getting a prescription and getting some pills and taking those, and then waiting until the next thing is bothering you, whether that's your gut or maybe your vision or your dry mouth or some other weird side effect. And then you go to the doctor and they give you another prescription, a different medicine. And nobody really asks or questions, what the hell is in this? What's in this pill? And it's just nature. So we're just exploring back to our roots, really. We didn't always have a doctor giving us pills. This was just in the last, 100 years or so. Might be off on that number by a few years, but that this is back to our roots as a human species of using nature to help us survive, to thrive, to be healthy, to have energy, to sleep well, to be in touch with everything surrounding you.
Yeah. So what led you down this path of psychedelics and psilocybin? Functional mushrooms.
I'm not a big spokesman or advocate or out in front of telling people they should try psilocybin because it's a personal journey. It's not one that I feel I should know. But if you have any inkling of wanting to kind of get reconnected to the source of everything and feel a little bit better, I always tell people, go do some research, ask around. You may have a good friend that you didn't even know, or a parent that you didn't even know that has used these beautiful organisms, not to rave at a concert or get crazy, partying or anything, but to actual, like with intention, sit down with an intention and be open to what presents itself. I've dabbled in quite a few different psychedelics just to explore what they can bring, and still always marvel and baffled by the ability it has to go into our bodies and do something in our brain to create these visuals and these things that you see with vivid clarity. It just baffles me. It's all in here. We're not playing a tape through our brain of a video or a film or something that's showing us. It's all in here. So it makes you think. It just gets you open to the possibilities of connecting and being here now and in touch now. And so my best friend, Dale Jolly, and partner with Umbo Functional Mushrooms, he's the one who kind of brought these to me, the functional mushrooms, right before the pandemic. I met him while working and advocating for Charlotte's Web, another plant with a lot of history of being called a drug and could kill you and make you dumb and blah, 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 all the stuff we've heard about marijuana. And now there's hemp. This was hemp. This was the one that didn't get you high. So we advocated and helped bring awareness to these mothers fighting to have the right to give this plant to their children who had seizures. That's where I met Dell, and we continued to form UMBO and have gone on a few journeys just to explore ourselves and understand where we come from and deal with some things we've had to go through in our lives. All in light of moving forward with functional mushrooms that are legal, they're non-psychedelic. We sell our bars and REI direct to consumer. This is a whole queendom that has potential to benefit the human body. So that's what's got me to here. But I'd be remiss without saying my mom was the OG, and her mom, my grandma, that introduced, herbs and good food. And my grandma was a vegetarian, and my mom doesn't eat red meat, and give us garlic and honey for our colds, and echinacea and ginseng and like brewer's yeast and smoothies. Like that was way back in the 70s and early 80s, and this has now become common. So I got to give it up to my mom for really initiating this path to be aware of what I put in my body, knowing that what you put in is going to come out as whatever form of you are presenting, and being real cognizant of that has been a key.
No, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you have quite the journey there too. I'm wondering, just in terms of ailments, like what kind of things are you guys seeing? Is this like specifically helping with depression and ailments like that, or is it even going past that?
Well, are you referencing psilocybin or psychedelics as in ayahuasca, ibogaine, peyote,
like the
DMT,
psilocybin,
and all of that?
Yeah, psilocybin.
My partner Del Jolly started unlimitedsciences.org. You can check them out, and it was a nonprofit set up to responsibly research the use of psychedelics as we decriminalize. And it's like, here we go, Wild West, whatever we want to do. Everybody's growing it, trying to give you bars, this and that and the other, and it's quite human of us to do that to this beautiful organism, to take it and make it our own. And I believe there's something in it that, as you can look back through history and hear theories of the stoned ape theory, for one of them, that we came out of the caves, started following the animals, and in their manure or their scat or whatever would be growing these mushrooms, and we were curious and ate them and had these mind expanding opening moments that helped us evolve as fast as we did, with language and with traveling the earth and knowledge of other herbs and other plants and trees and all of this, that we become who we are now. And so there's something with it that it helps reset the default mode network, which is one that kind of controls us when we are out and about in the regular day, telling us to be careful, or maybe you don't want to do that, or someone may look at me funny. And like it kind of has that control on you. And what happens when you take the psilocybin, which there's so many different strains, so many different strains that will do different things. And it's a science, really. It's really a deep down, really important medicine that we're going to come across in time, with more research and more open minds and more people being curious to help us solve some of these ailments and diseases we're dealing with. But it shuts that down. So you're able to just like let whatever is out there come in and be really, for me, it's really getting connected back to everything around me. It's like, I'm here and I'm myself and I'm in it, but then I become part of it. And that's a hard thing to say to someone who's never tried it. And I'm not saying this is a cure-all, a panacea. This is serious thought should go into experiencing these medicines and make sure you're ready for it. Don't just go do it and run around and party at some kegger with a bunch of friends. You may have a bad experience. So I hold this queendom with reverence, not only with the ability it has to take you on a trip and maybe approach some of your traumas and heal you there, but with its abilities just as a daily addition to your regimen, like eating vegetables. It's a food group we don't eat anymore. When you're talking oysters and shiitake and lion's mane and all these delectable, yummy gourmet mushrooms, now we're extracting them and providing them. So I hold all of them in high reverence. And I believe that we're going to keep finding out, like the study they did at Unlimited Sciences with a retrospective observational research with just how common people use psilocybin in their everyday lives. And that it was the largest one ever done. It's been published and referenced in numerous other papers here in the last year. And it just kind of goes through how other people are using this. So I'm an experiential kind of guy. I don't just believe somebody and say, okay, I'll take that. Thank you. I'm going to go and like check it out. If I like it and it works, I'm going to get behind it. I got behind Charlotte's Web, and now I'm really behind Umbo and what we're doing with functional, legal, non-psychedelic mushrooms that you can buy at the grocery store or you can have shipped to your door. That's really where I'm at now. And through this whole journey, all of this combined is where I am sitting here talking to you guys. And you're asking me about, psychedelics. I'm not really the guy to ask. There's much more advanced, more intelligent people that have studied this and are doing the research that would be able to guide you down if this is good for this or should I try it for this. And sometimes it's just an awakening you get yourself going, I want to be better. I've heard a lot about this. I'm going to go try this. And then you go do it. And the rest, then that's really when the work begins. You don't do this and then like, oh, my anxiety's gone. Life's so great. You're going to go back and be under stress under the job or under stress in traffic or under stress at a ball game or under stress waiting for a bus because there's cars going boom, boom. I mean, this isn't going to take everything away. It's just going to reset things to help you cope a little bit better. Maybe have some tools in your toolbox and then learn like, wow, my breathing is something that can help me also regulate my anxiety and my stress. And exercise is also something that's good for my depression, and eating good food, being with real good friends, drinking clean water, getting good sleep. I mean, these are common things that a doctor probably won't tell you, but they all will lead towards a better, healthier way of life.
No, it's funny. I was talking with a friend the other day, and they had specifically been talking about microdosing. And my friend told his other friend, he was like, when you do microdosing the right way, it was like you don't feel anything. Like you just sort of function better. So it's really hard in that regard to kind of quantify what it's doing because there is the vast just feeling almost. It's just you just function like you were supposed to, I guess. I do want to ask you though, since this is medicine that's relatively, it's not new, but I think newer for consumers in general. Where do you see this going in the next 5 years, 10 years? What does that look like on your end?
Well, I'll address both sides because as I am co-founder of Umbo, where we sell, capsules, functional mushrooms, bars at REI, I have to toe the line all the time with, sure. I microdose. Are these microdoses? And no, they're not. I macrodose functional mushrooms every day, meaning I take 5 to 10 grams of a plethora of turkey tail, cordyceps, reishi, lion's mane, tremella, shiitake, oyster, whatever it is. I'm taking macro doses every day of functional mushrooms. Now, when you talk about psychedelic mushrooms or medicinal or whatever you want to say in the category, microdosing is taking a small amount and you don't take it every day. It's not something you should take every day. It's hard on your kidneys. It's hard. You're filtering all that out and it's not good for you. So it's not like just getting a big bottle of pills and taking those. Cause a lot of people, they get, let's face it, our society is strung out. A lot of people strung out on opioids.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically, they're legally giving us crack and heroin, but it's your doctor doing it. And so the pain goes away and you're like, oh man, these are great. Yeah, I'll try those mushrooms, those functional mushrooms, Jake. And they try them and they're like, my pain isn't going away. This doesn't work. I'm like, well, it takes some time. It's going to build up in your system. And when your body's out of whack and you got a ton of inflammation and it may be caused from injury, it may be caused from just, genetically, it could be caused from poor diet. Poor thought, like all kinds of stuff can lead to inflammation. These things are highly powered anti-inflammatories, the functional mushrooms. That's one thing I love about them and really what convinced me.
Yeah. So you talk about inflammation and you talk about, pain and ailments. Now I'm pretty sure that you've probably had your run in with, getting banged up with 10 years in the NFL, right? You played for Arizona and Denver. So, and there's repercussions from that, obviously, on your physical body for playing ball for so long. Obviously, you probably played in high school and college, but does this help medicinally? Do you think, like, the real world application for some of these supplements that you've helped create?
Yeah, I mean, I could speak on that, but I just want to finish with the microdosing question. Where do I see it going in the next little bit? I see it being decriminalized. I hope and I pray so that we don't have to go to get a doctor's prescription of microdosing. You can get it from a trusted source. You can grow it yourself in your basement, and you won't be persecuted or risk going to jail because you're growing this organism that's been on the planet since way before we were here. So will it be legalized? I hope not. Will there be a path for some that want to take that therapeutic method with a doctor in a clinical setting? I hope so. But I really want it to be decriminalized so that anyone, anywhere, no matter what, can try this. And then there involves the whole, like, the aspects of the ethics behind it. Like, what are you growing it for? What are you doing it for? How are you growing it? Is it good? Are you using trash to grow it? Like, but these things are so intelligent, these organisms. So I don't think we can mess them up as humans. They know too much about us and everything else around us. They're surround the globe. The mycelial network surrounds the earth and knows what every plant needs and does and comes and goes and tastes like, and how heavy I step. And when I take a piss outside, it knows what's in my urine. I mean, this is a knowledgeable thing that we can't even comprehend. And our little brains here on this planet won't comprehend, but a lot of people are starting to think about it. And that's beautiful. As far as for inflammation, that was like one thing that really flipped the script for me. Was I was healthy throughout the whole pandemic. Throughout the COVID, when I got sick, it was just a headache and was maybe a day and I was done. It wasn't a drawn out bad thing, but my body, I was feeling differently in my body. And that was in my knees and my ankles and my joints that were not aching during a cold winter. They were not aching when I was getting up and down. And then I started reading about them and obviously start a farm, also a Michael Love farm that we started in Fort Lupton, started growing them and learning about their extremely potent anti-inflammatory properties, their antioxidant-rich properties, their amounts of vitamin D and fiber. I mean, you go down the line, there's so many compounds. Reishi mushroom alone has 500 compounds, we think. 500 compounds in this thing, and one of them is ganoderic acid. And ganoderic acid is a natural antihistamine. I don't have allergies during the springtime anymore. We have a cat. I got a cat named Morella. And so, like, we don't know what's in these, so much so to say, like, oh yeah, this is what's taking care of your inflammation, but they've been studied and used for centuries in Japan and China. And the history and the research has been done for years over there. It's just, we're adapting in our Western culture and society here to, like, open our ears and minds up to, there is something out there in nature, natural intelligence, that may help me. It's not going to cure me, but it may give me that boost I need to get back to closer to who I want to be, and, like, take it from there.
I think back to Mark's question too, like, has this helped you just in terms of, like, aches and pains? And I mean, all of the damage, I don't know if there was damage that was done, but I would assume, being in the NFL, you guys get hit pretty hard. I mean, has it helped with that stuff? Have you noticed a big change just with anything like this in general?
Yeah, they were definitely a positive intervention towards that, because I was feeling better and having energy. And what do you do when you feel better and have energy? You go do more things. I was able to get back on the handball court and play at a pretty high level. The only bad thing about feeling really good and being active and healthy like that is my body did take a beating for 4 years. Started straight out of high school at ASU, started 2 years in high school. So 16 years of playing football, getting hit every week basically during the season, and then playing all kinds of other sports in the off season too. My body did take a beating. I had some really bad injuries, some extremely nothing serious though, no blown out or broken too bad. I mean, I was always able to come back within 4 weeks or so, but probably should have taken 4 more weeks off, thinking back how, you want to get back on the field. But, I was hurting, before I started taking the Charlotte's Web hemp oil. My knees and my body was full of inflammation, and I wasn't taking care of it as well as I should be. And that was the first step. But then the mushrooms definitely, as I was in it for a while, taking the tinctures that my buddy Dale gave me, and then eventually getting into Umbo and taking those. And Michael Love's now producing the tinctures and soon to be producing the powders that is going to go into our Umbo products. Getting that high level, really potent mushrooms, it's been great. I know now, like my left big toe has been jammed so many times, stepped on it thousands of times. It hurts. The mushrooms aren't getting rid of the inflammation in that, but I can manage it. And I got a couple of areas that pop up from just being active. I was playing high level handball, open level doubles, and running around just a year ago, and I'm 49 this year. I'll be 50 at the end of this year. And, a lot of guys that played as long as I did at the stage I'm at don't move like that anymore. And the only thing I've changed is definitely more than just that. I initiated, stop drinking alcohol, eating good food. I do yoga. I try to move every day. But these mushrooms really are strong anti-inflammatories and adaptogens to help your body balance out.
Talk about the transition from NFL to Michael Love Farm.
Well, that was a long gap there, like Michael Love Farm was 2023. I think we started that. 22, we started that. So I retired in 06, and there was 14 years in there where I did a lot of stuff. Moved away from the big city, lived in the woods for 5 years, started having kids, traveled the world with my wife, coached a little bit, got on TV a little bit. And then, it was hitting me pretty hard. Like, what am I going to do? What do I do now? I don't want to do this coaching thing, because then you're moving from city to city every other year, chasing what I don't know. I was on TV talking about the game, which week to week got really redundant. And it was kind of boring to say one week, well, Stanford just needs to stop the run. And then the next week it would be, Washington just needs to stop the run. I'm like, what am I saying here? This doesn't matter. None of this is going to change the world. And right around then, got involved in a little tech company with a digital playbook, utilizing multiple learning styles to learn the game. Still working on that, as far as trying to get that out, and it's starting to gain a little steam. And then got the opportunity to start Umbo and then start Michael Love Farm. So it's been a journey for sure. I've been a lot of ups and downs. I've had moments of depression. And it was really, when I look back, it was being inactive. It was sitting around. It was inertia. It was, I'd stopped. I just wasn't going to go do something because I didn't want to get hurt. Like, I want to go ski, but I don't want to get hurt. I want to go mountain bike, but if I crash, I'll hurt myself. What the hell was I doing? So I just started doing it all. Let's go. And around then, I had my first, journey and ceremony with plant medicine back in 4 years ago. And it really opened my mind up and said, wow, we're just this small little speck of time. We're here on this planet. Stop moping, stop walking around doing nothing. Like, remember who you were, be okay with that, and remember who I was before that, and get back in touch with that 12-year-old kid that loved to do a lot of stuff. Start doing that again. And so that was really a huge thing for me to pursue joy. And now that door's opened, I mean, people are just coming left and right to join on to our cause and mission, which is, hey, let's take health back into our own hands. Let's have active minds and bodies and not listen to the narrative of, you got to get ready, especially as an NFL player. You got to get ready. You're going to start forgetting shit. You're going to start, being really depressed and like, no, why? Well, because you had concussions and CTE. I think we can create a path of hope to heal once you get done playing. Even if you're further out, like I am, finding this, you can still find a pathway to health and to light yourself back up like we were when we were balling on Sundays, because we were one of the small, tiny percentages of the world, the best at what we did. That means we can do that again in some other way, in some other iteration.
Jake, I want to ask you, are people in general, do you find that people are, more excited about this type of treatment, or does it still have kind of a negative, psychedelic hippie connotation there? I mean, what kind of stuff are you seeing in that regard?
To be honest, I don't deal much in that arena. I'm not putting together ceremonies. I'm not talking in the decrim movement. My buddy Dale helped get the decrim passed.
Right. I meant more along the lines of like the product and everything. Are people like saying, oh, I don't know if I want to take this because of the components, or is it like, oh, wow, this is amazing, I want to try this out?
Yeah. Okay. So, because you said psychedelics, I'm thinking.
I know. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that I deal with that every day, man. We're on Radio Row a couple years ago, or even this last year, and we're handing out our Umbo bars. They're two types. They're really good. They got 5 different mushrooms in them, 2.5 grams per bar. There's no other product that's going to give you that much in one serving, and they're tasty. They're yummy. And first off, people, oh, I don't like mushrooms. They're gross. Try this bar. They eat it. They're like, damn, that tastes amazing. Like, I would eat this bar every day. And once they taste it, they're convinced. But there are guys there on Radio Row and people you'd think that were in the know and would have an idea of what's going on. Like, they kind of giggle and like look around like, is this psychedelic? Can I take this? Am I going to be okay? And I like, yeah, this is functional. This is not psychedelic. You're going to be fine. You can eat this right now. I just had one a little bit ago. And then they're like, oh, and they laugh like, can I get some of those psychedelics? And it's like, they're curious, but they're also like confused. And so it's just like with hemp and working with Charlotte's Web, it was the same thing. We're telling people and showing them like the differences. We're educating every day. There's much more like knowledgeable mycologists doing really awesome research, and we're doing some too. I've got a study that I just concluded with 20 former players, seeing if lion's mane and peptides can reverse cognitive decline and physical dysfunction.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Let's find a path. There's another group called Lily's Lighthouse that's using functional mushrooms to help treat little children with seizures, and they're having a lot of success. Can I say it cures that? Can I say it? No, I can't. The FDA would crack down. But people that are curious, that are they've gone through all of the things they can, and their child is still sick or they're still sick, they're not getting any better. They're starting to they're starting to listen a little bit and hear what's being out there. Like, hey, there is some alternative forms of medicine that may help you. Is it going to? I can't guarantee that, but it will not hurt you to try. So yeah, we deal with that every day. We deal with it a lot, but more and more people are understanding. Our sleep product, our replenishing sleep product is our #1 bestseller. It's 5-star reviewed. Everybody that takes it is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm sleeping better. And 7 out of 10 people I come across talking to them, they ask me, do you have a sleep product? I am not sleeping at all. And so, people are listening. People are curious. They don't want to smoke a big bong hit or eat a bunch of gummies or take NyQuil or a Excedrin PM and all this stuff anymore. They're hearing that there are detrimental side effects from taking those, even taking melatonin for too long. Our body produces it. When you take it, your body stops. You're imbalancing yourself. And so the mushrooms are amazing at bringing back homeostasis in our body and bringing everything back to normal, to functionality. And that's what's working. And I'm not the scientist to tell you why or what the compounds are, but there are some really awesome ones. One of them, Shane Schoolman, working for Michael Love, the CEO, that's going to find this out. And it's a long journey, and we're just beginning, and it's super exciting. And obviously you can tell I love to talk about it, because if I can help somebody get healthy or help somebody live a little better, what a gift to have after all I've been through, my career and all of it. It all makes sense now to get to this point. Like, why did I get my name to be known playing football? Oh, it's so I can come out here now and speak about how I've healed myself. Am I 100% healthy? No, I feel pretty damn good though. And I'm looking down the future for longevity and vitality for a long time. Like, I want to be here for a while.
You said that there's a lot of different, mushrooms. And so if there was one that you could pick, only one for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
That's tough. There's so many beautiful ones. I don't know as much as Paul Stamets, but I know of a hell of a lot more than most people. But he still doesn't know that much either, because there's still so much yet to be learned. It's hard to say because I love to eat mushrooms. They're tasty if you know how to cook them right, and they can go into a lot of different foods. They're a great supplementation, or maybe you want to take a couple days off of eating meat. They're very good to add to your diet, and they carry a lot of amino acids. Almost all the amino acids in like an oyster mushroom are there, so you're getting everything you need. Like lion's mane would probably be the one, because you can take that in an extraction or powder form, but you can also cook it, and it's just a delicacy. It's so good. It's a yummy morsel of food, and so it has both gourmet and that functional side of it. Whereas like reishi, my favorite mushroom, you won't eat reishi. It's fibrous and it's hard as heck. I mean, you don't eat reishi, but reishi's a super powerful, very good at what it does in helping the human body thrive.
Okay.
That's cool.
Lion's mane.
Let me ask you this, Jake. What are your thoughts on RFK? Are you hopeful that he's going to help to clear up government control, like with these issues? Like, is that anything that's going to like help, right? Like help decriminalize this? Like, is that something that you feel hopeful about in general?
Because he put a tweet out. Did you read his tweet?
I haven't. What did he say?
He talks about the decriminalization of psilocybin, psychedelics, stem cell, raw milk, peptides.
Yeah. The list kind of goes on and on. I mean, he makes claims that, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to undo a lot of the corruption, and that's going to open the gate for medicines like what you guys are doing. So I'm curious what the tone is up there. I mean, are you guys excited about that? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think there's excitement when you hear someone speaking like that. Obviously, someone that has influence and can get into those channels and hopefully speak in a way that people will listen. Obviously, politicians all have agendas, and they have more than just what they're telling you behind them that they want to do too. So will that remain his most important thing to do? It would be a hell of a legacy to leave behind if he pulled it off. And I would support him in whatever way that is, because we live in a free country. Yet I know people that are medical refugees that live in Indiana that cannot access the same medicine that I can access. And I live in Colorado. And to me, in a land of the free in the United States of America, and we live in this beautiful place, how can somebody be held hostage in their own state because of an imaginary line around that state that says you can't go across it and get healthy? You're breaking the law. I won't say what that is, but it's straight up messed up. And if we get someone that can come in here and has the right plan, because what worries me about politicians or worries me about going big with these kind of things is the monetization, the capitalization of this thing called nature, of these plants, of what we're demolishing currently in the Amazon that could be holding the key to all of extending life eternal. We're just burning it down to have room to have more cows. And so can he make some big change? I sure as hell hope so, because I believe people deserve the right, like we did here in Denver when we decriminalized psilocybin. It's a human right thing. As a human, you should have the right to take what you want, so long as you're not being having criminal type of mindset or going out and doing criminal activities, or you're a bad person. As long as you're doing it with reverence and respect, then yeah. Cleaning up, first, psychedelics is a deep dive into touching onto some very tender subjects and spots for a lot of humans. How about we just start with the cereal aisle in every grocery store across the United States? Yep. Look at the UK's ingredients. Look at our ingredients. Yeah. They got 12. We got 120.
Yeah.
It's red
that's
dyes
where we need to
start. Dyes and yellow and all this garbage, man. It's crazy.
If he can do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that's what he's saying, man, is he's like wanting to crusade for the children and making everybody healthy again and bringing that to the light of like, why are these ingredients illegal in Europe, but yet we can have them all here in the States? Right. But we're the sickest. I think we're crazy. 72.
Oh, it's something terrible. Yeah.
Like
as
far as like the ranking like the which country's healthiest, we're like 72.
And we're the fattest, and
but yeah, we're
becoming the dumbest too. So we have a lot going against us for sure.
59. Brett says 59.
Yeah, but I don't know,
59.
man. I don't think we're on the fast track to being the dumbest. I think that there's definitely some people getting curious, more curious.
No, I do too, for sure.
I'm all for his crusade of whatever it is and whatever that means. And it's going to take a lot, and it's going to be extremely hard because these are big money corporations that have all the ads on all of the NFL games, on all of the Sundays and primes and all this stuff. I mean, I wish him well on his cause. I hope it can start happening and then continue on. That'd be really nice.
Yeah. We were talking about it on the show earlier. I mean, it's definitely, it's a huge undertaking, like you said, and it's going to be something that's probably realistically going to take all 4 years to completely untangle it. And so, I mean, I think we're like that too. Like, we're very, very hopeful that it can be done, but it's a big hill for sure.
But I also think that there's like an organic awakening too, though, from like, a lot of these, moms are like looking into these ingredients. Cause like, when we were growing up, like in the 80s and 90s, it was like, nobody looked at the back of the nutrient facts or, or the, nutrition facts or like, micro and macro.
Sure.
And it was like, what? Give me some Rice Krispies and pour some sugar on top of it, dude.
Does it taste good?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But now, I mean, I think that there's a lot, there's a big movement going on,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that it could, at least for the food, I think it could get some steam behind him.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. But it's also, is it going to float with the new administration that's more about deregulation and not having the government's thumb on things? I mean, here we are, the government now going to put our thumb on the ingredients that go into these things we've been eating for years. Now it doesn't taste like Fruit Loops. What is this, Mom? I don't like it. Oh, it's natural fruit juice, honey. Yeah. Oh, don't buy those anymore. Sweet. Don't buy them anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. But it's a big undertaking. I mean, in the meantime, I know that it's something that we all want to live in, this utopia and this like place where everybody gets along. And I hope that's more of an issue of like uniting rather than dividing.
Right.
And if we can all get healthy, then we can see each other in a different way because we're all feeling better. We're not pissed off and mad at anything and everything. I mean, you just drive around town where you guys live, even where I live in a pretty highly enlightened area. People are crazy in their cars. They're pissed off, flipping me off because I'm going 45 in a 45. Like, wait a sec. Yo, this isn't, how do we make change when there's that going on?
Yeah.
And so is it the food?
That's true.
It's adding a lot to it. It's adding a lot to our brains not being at ease. It's also like this thing constantly.
Oh
like,
man, 100%.
Shut down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think, that's a great point. I mean, if we can put ourselves in a good spot by disconnecting from, social media or our phones or just, TV, the news. I mean, God, the news is bad enough as is. Like, if you can take a break and just focus on eating the right foods, having spiritual life, having good energy, good community, friends, I mean, that just takes you so much further. So, yeah, man, I think all this has been great.
Mark, you mentioned the moms, though. The moms, if the moms start saying, hey, this ain't right, that's a movement I want to get behind.
Yeah,
moms know. And I've got my wife's an amazing mother. I've got a phenomenal mother myself. If the moms want to make a difference, then RFK better get behind and start talking to
the
those
moms want to make a difference.
Ladies.
I've seen that shift happen recently. I mean, past 5 years. I mean, there are moms who are adamant about change in food, about change in medical regulations. I mean, I do think a lot of this has been spurred because of good moms, honestly. I mean, moms who want like the truth about, certain things that are going in the body, certain jabs. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. I do want to ask you too, just in terms of people finding education on the difference between psychedelics versus what you guys have. Is there good resources online with that? I mean, how do you guys combat that? Because I'm sure you get a lot of misinformation out there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at our website, getumbo.com, GETUMBO, we have a lot of multiple blogs explaining the difference and explaining what is functional mushrooms, what are they. We have, if you sign up for our newsletter, put in your email, you'll get a free e-booklet that breaks it down kind of in athletic terms because we're saying mushrooms are for athletes and the active mind and body. and it gives people a chance to just read it at not a publication like out of Johns Hopkins,
Right.
where you get lost reading this medical speak. Yeah. We break it down so it's a little easier to digest, so you can understand what the functional mushrooms are. But then there's also some references to psychedelics. UnlimitedSciences.org is another great resource for learning more about psychedelics and the fact that they've been on the earth, and every region, every continent has their own indigenous like psychedelic plants on the continent. And it's just really interesting when you start thinking about it. But definitely people want to read, you can Google and look up, but make sure it's from a good school or like an institution, or something that you trust, because there is some misinformation out there. And like I said earlier, mushrooms, functional mushrooms are for everybody, especially athletes. Psychedelic mushrooms are for the curious that want to look into addressing some maybe traumas they've been through in their lives that they're having trouble with or that keep resurfacing. And, I've sat on Radio Row with Marcus Capone, who runs Vet Solutions, and he takes special ops veterans down to Mexico to take Ibogaine. And at my first thought, I'm thinking, why do they have to go to Mexico? Those are our veterans. They are the ones that have allowed us. They've gone and given up their lives in Ghana and defended our country, and they have to leave our country and go across the border to get healthy. Something doesn't feel right about that. So they're being used and being talked about, and we don't know yet the significance and how far it's going to go. I don't know what they're going to go with the legalization. I don't know how they're going to approach it with the new administration, but having the right to take them is really a human right. And for us, we feel like functional mushrooms, there's no barrier. There's nothing stopping you from trying to have a little better energy, a little less fatigue, to get your systems back in order, to sleep better, to calm your nervous system, to help with neuronal growth and repair. Like, these are all things that happen when we age, and then Alzheimer's, dementia, all these things come into effect. But if there's something that can prevent that and is something that's giving me hope for my future, then I'm going to shout it from the rooftops and talk about it to whoever's willing to listen.
Is there anybody that functional mushrooms are not for?
There are occasional people who have a food allergy to mushrooms. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, when I first got into this about 4 years ago and started learning a lot about it, they said there's about 1 million to 1.5 million different, fungi out there, because all mushrooms are fungi, but not all fungi are mushrooms. The fruiting body is what we're thinking, the part that comes out of the ground, that's a mushroom, but there's fungi everywhere. There's the mycelial network, there's molds, there's yeast, there's so many things in the world that are out there. But now they're saying anywhere from 2.5 to 3 million different species. And so as we're learning more, we're understanding the complexity that we're dealing with here as research needs to be done, because even lion's mane, I say lion's mane, but there's multiple different strains of lion's mane. They look different, they taste different. Maybe they have different compounds in them. We don't even know yet. And that's the really exciting part, is like, I'm here doing this. There's other people chipping away. In 50 years, where will we be? Not that far, but we'll be further than we are now. And that's exciting, because we keep finding out more and more about what's in these that can help us kind of reprogram ourselves to be healthy, to thrive, to have vitality, to function better, and not just go down the route of like, oh God, getting old's a bitch.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be.
No, it's very, very true, man. It's been very enlightening. So how can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Snake Plummer. Just Snake and then Plummer. They can go at Get Umbo. We're on also on Instagram there. That's probably the best two ways to check me out. I don't do a ton of stuff on Instagram, but I do get on there and share once in a while. And, it's a good way to stay in touch with some guys that you don't have their number for too. So yeah, check us out. Go to our website if you want that e-booklet. It's free. We can create a code for you guys right now. I mean, if you want to do it for your listeners, do CC.
Hey, that's
counter
cool,
cause, right? CC 15.
Yeah, man.
All right,
let's do it.
that, yeah.
Okay. I love that, man. That's
Yeah.
really, really
People
awesome.
want to
Thank
go
you
on
for doing
on
that.
our website. Yeah, use that code. You can get a little discount, and we have a
What
great
is it
little
again for
sampler
anybody that
pack
didn't hear
has
it?
our counter cause. We'll just go CC15.
CC15. You guys heard it.
CC15.
CC15.
Let's
Check
see.
it out. Let us know what you guys think about it. Man, Jake Plummer, thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I know I talked a lot. I have a few other things.
No,
that
man, you got
I
great
wanted
info.
To pose to you guys too, but
You got great info,
I'm
man.
not
And
an
listen,
expert.
I was going to say,
I just
listen, if you're
live-
ever
I
in the
live
Dallas
and listen
area,
and
please come in. Sorry, we're kind of
Yeah.
talking over each other. Skype's tough. Skype's a little bit hard to do. But if you're ever
There's
in
a
the
little
Dallas area,
lag.
man, let us know. We'd love to have you in the studio and just like chat about this stuff because, man, it's really interesting stuff. It's really great stuff.
yeah, I'd love to join you guys. If I get down that way, I'll let you know. And I appreciate you guys being curious and having me on and letting me share a little bit and keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, Jake. It was nice to meet
Absolutely, brother. Thanks a lot, Jake.
Right on, guys.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
If you guys want to hear more from Jake, check out the website, Michael Love, and use our coupon code CC15, and let us know what you guys think. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Like and subscribe. See you guys later.